Hidden Object Guru here, joined by.
The Gun Wrangler.
And we're back to talk the rest of the Terror, which is. Oh my god, what a show!
I know. It's
Oh.
something else.
I am excited. I know the second season has nothing to do with the first season, like at all. I don't even know if it is it even based on a book?
I'm not sure if it's based on a book, but I do know it's, seeing as I've watched it.
Oh, you've already
Um,
watched it. Okay. Are
I've
there
been inside the
thematic
Arctic
similarities?
Circle for a month.
Oh, okay.
There's not a whole lot to do.
Okay. Yeah, yes, you make a strong point there. So yes, I have a feeling we're going to be coming back and doing this another one of these about season 2 because that season 1 was fantastic.
Yeah,
Oh
isn't
my
it?
god. So yeah, I had just seen the first 3 episodes when we last talked about this, and now I have seen the whole thing, and I have been blown away by the whole thing. It is just, oh, it just gets better and better. Like I didn't know where, and what I loved about it is, I really had no idea where it was going the whole time. Like I really couldn't tell you. Yeah, the crazy guy was just obviously crazy, but I didn't see him being a guy who stole his way onto the boat. Spoiler alert. Uh, well, murdered
Most
his way onto the
times,
boat.
historically, that is the opposite of what you'd want to do.
Yeah, I know, right? But I do understand, weirdly, I do understand his logic, which is if you can get to the South Seas to avoid a murder rap, I'd get to the South Seas to avoid a murder rap.
True, but you're on.
Oh, yeah, you're trapped on a boat. Yeah, no, I get it. Like, it's a bad situation to be trapped in. But at the same time, I'm like, he is a crazy person who was desperate to escape. Like, it's
True.
not like this is a guy operating with a full complement of marbles. He was quite. Oh my god, like, he was never a stable guy to start with, but he gets quite insane by the end of it in a really fascinating way.
Yeah, the whole self-mutilation thing. Yeah,
Oh
I can
god,
get
yeah.
behind it.
Oh, I love that. I think my favorite, and I mean, I know I'm jumping right to the end of the whole show here, so spoiler alert. I love that he's like, I've figured out how this monster works. I can get this monster working for me. I just have to sacrifice people to it and cut out my own tongue. And the answer is no, that is
No,
not how that monster works.
yeah. No, it's how the monster works, because it's established earlier
Yeah.
on.
No, but it's like,
But
but that's
the
not
monster's answer
sufficient.
is hard
No.
no.
Yeah. Well, no, but it's necessary, but it's not sufficient. Like, simply doing that will not get the monster on your side. The monster still has free will. It might appreciate that kind of sacrifice, but it's not your slave. It's a monster. A polar bear with a human face, which was very hard to look at.
Yeah, it was extremely disconcerting, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh God. When you see an animal with a human face with animal fur over it and more animal eyes, I'm like, that's a really creepy thing. In H.P. Lovecraft, there's a rat with a human face, and I always found that to be a very creepy idea. And I'm trying to remember which one it was. Dreams in the Witch House. But anyway, whichever one it was in. Um, and I've always found that to be a very creepy image, and all of the people who have done, fan art about Lovecraft have suggested that yes, that is an unbelievably creepy idea. I have no idea where the incinerator is. Can you help me with that?
So over here.
Oh, there. I see you. It's in there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. But anyway, yes. So truly, like, a great ending. But let's back up a little to the wonderful politics of that boat. And, oh my god. Like, just the horror of having to get off of alcohol and go through detox while on a boat.
While
While on
on
a
a
boat
frozen boat.
in the Arctic where everything is 40 degrees below all of the time. Oh. Oh my god, he's such a... I mean, first off, I've been open about my love of Jared Harris and being there for whatever Jared Harris wants to do.
Yeah.
He's so incredible in this show. Like, and as he knows he's, like, the way he plays it when he's trying to get over this, and he knows he's failing, like, he knows he is screwed up, and he is failing his crew, and he is failing the expedition.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like, and he's so tortured by it in such a heartbreaking way to watch. I loved that. He plays it so beautifully.
He's an amazing actor, and not just on The Expanse, coming out December 13th on Amazon.
No, he's an amazing actor everywhere. We're very
For that
excited
plug,
for
I
the
won't
new
ask for any money, Amazon. I'll take
We're
a
just
poster, actually, a signed poster.
signed poster would be nice. No, I'm just glad they continued making it. I think that's our reward from Amazon. There's gonna be another well, there's gonna be 2 more seasons. You
Yeah.
know? So I think that's a reward enough for us. I'm very excited to get back to The Expanse because, whoo boy, did it end in an amazing place. And I'm gonna watch this season 4, and then I will start on the books because this will be my last season. This is my announcement. This is gonna be my last season where I don't know where the story is going. So I'm gonna really enjoy it.
Well, you've got 3.5 books to catch up on.
Oh, okay.
You should
Yeah.
probably start reading now.
No, once. Actually, yeah, I guess I could, couldn't I? Because I'm gonna have books worth of stuff I already know about. Okay, strong point. I will start reading now. So if someone
Like,
wanted to
beyond
lend me
the
a
whole
copy
novellas and
tonight
all.
when I saw them, maybe that wouldn't be a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, beyond the whole, all of the novellas I have to get through. But yeah, like the politics of the boat are so interesting because it's about, you know, and I questioned, you know, the craziness of trying to keep this kind of good order, right? Trying to keep this kind of military order in this horrific situation as it gets worse and worse. And that is because I'm a civilian. You know,
Mhm.
I've never been in a place where your life depends on following orders. And the terrifying thing about this show is, and I know we don't know what happened to the actual terror, okay? Like, I'm aware of that.
We know the end game.
Yeah, we know
Fairly
the end
certain.
game. Yeah, the like, we don't know that there was a mutiny, okay? We don't know that there was a mutiny. We don't know that they split up. We know that that some of them tried to make it south, and that there was cannibalism.
Yeah.
Because the attempt to make it south didn't go well. And is there anything more heartbreaking than it's like this giant fight that they spend 2 episodes going over what a monster this man is for going all in on cannibalism? And
Yeah.
then seeing the quote-unquote good camp and being like, no, I mean, he was a monster, yes, but everybody gets there eventually. That's so horrific.
Yeah, it was like that, especially where, like, yeah, even the good camp sort of hits cannibalism and
Yeah, you're gonna get there. Like, when you have to eat, and there's a dead body right there. Like, no matter what you think of yourself, you're going to eat. Oh,
Mhm.
that was a hard thing to watch.
there's a lot of stuff in the series that's not easy to watch.
Well, that's true, but it's like, and that's the thing where it's just such a brutal kick to the audience because we hear about the cannibalism in the first episode. Like, we know that's coming, right? And then you see the cannibal camp and you're like, okay, that's what they were talking about. But then, like, no. We're not letting you off that easily. Oh, and it's so frustrating. Because you want it... and I know there can't be a happy ending, because I'm familiar with the story of the terror. And I like that the show managed to get as close as possible to a happy ending. You know?
Yep.
I mean, that's as close as you can possibly get to a happy ending, but it still wasn't the happiest ending. And yeah, he's gonna be happier there. He's gonna have a better life there than he would have otherwise. There was nothing for him in polite British society. He didn't accidentally learn their language and become as close to the Eskimo as possible.
Well, here's the thing. He already knew Inuktitut
Yeah.
when he got there, because it's mentioned in the opera episode that, yeah, it's not his first time up there.
Yeah.
And he's gone out of his way to learn the local languages.
Yeah. And I actually liked that mention because, and when we first see him, he's not great at it, but he can get by, and then over the 2 years they spend up there, he gets really good at it. You know,
Mhm.
and I mean, you've got the doctor writing the dictionary of Inuktitut, so they can actually bring back something of value. You know, so the whole trip wasn't a waste. And I mean, they don't
I think
bring
I,
back that dictionary. But
I would
still.
argue that it's more for, you know, personal use, because this is something that seems kind of important.
I know it is, but I think he also talks about how it is, you know, of scientific interest to be able to have a dictionary of their language, and I think that makes a lot of sense because you're good if they're going to keep coming to this place, and we have every reason to believe they will. It's kind of vitally important to be able to speak the language, and so if you can go there without having to bring along a guy who has spent 2 years or 3 years learning the language, that's going to be a huge improvement.
Yep.
And it's going to help other people learn the language before they actually go there, which is going to make life way easier for everybody. So it's like, yes, there is a very practical, they have to do it right away for themselves reason, but I think the statement that it's also of massive scientific interest is completely accurate. All right, I'm not going to be able to get the body bags into the thing because you're hosting, so if you could handle the body bags, that would be great.
Yeah, sure thing.
Merci beaucoup. Okay.
I like how the villain,
Oh,
beyond when he goes insane, is just like, oh, I heard about this in the newspapers, and he like cuts off the dude's nipples as like,
I know. Oh. Yeah, he read about the brutal things natives do. And so he just brutalizes them because he needs to convince enough people that they are at the mercy of savages that they'll go along with him.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and everyone else, and of course the people who actually know the Eskimo. Unfortunately for him, there are still people alive who know the Eskimo and know that this isn't their thing at all.
Yeah,
It's-
in the future, by the way,
Yeah?
Inuit.
Inuit.
Eskimo
Well,
is.
of course. Oh no, it's a huge slur, and I should stop saying it. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. I'm just going by what. I'm just using the terms of the show, but you're right. We shouldn't do that. Inuit is absolutely the correct term. Yeah, like
Thanks.
you know, yeah, that's something I was lucky enough to learn in school. That's right. They taught that in school even decades ago when I was in it.
Yep.
But yes, that is something that is they take very seriously because
Yes, dear listeners, readers, watchers, do not use the term Eskimo, especially
ever.
yeah, especially with Canadian Inuit.
They take it very seriously.
They take it very seriously, very personally.
Yeah.
It's like dropping an N-bomb with a hard R.
Well,
Don't do it.
Don't do it. And as I understand it, I mean, I don't remember the origin. Is it because they use that term because that is what the more southern natives that they were familiar with first
It's
told them
actually,
about them, or where did it
if
come
I
from?
remember right, it's a Cree racial slur.
Ah, okay. And of course,
Because I believe
the
it was
British and Canadians partnered up with the Cree right away, so that's the word they learned first.
yeah, and the Cree had been at war with the Inuit,
for
ever.
Okay. So there you go. Yeah, and so you're right. We should not ever, even just discussing in this show where they only use that term. No, don't use that term. So yeah, but they know the Inuit. Like he knows the Inuit. He knows they don't pull stuff like this. He knows that this is just something someone saw in a book, and so they know right away. But they're in this ridiculous situation where, because of the way the camp, not only because of the way the camp is organized, you have to have good proof to go after a guy, but they know that they know he's not just a crazy person. They know he's doing this for a reason, which means he must be planning a coup.
Something.
Like he must planning something, most likely a mutiny. So you have to be incredibly careful the way you wrap this up. Oh man, I have been, and the thing is, I guess it was complete wishful thinking on my part, but I'm like, oh, just stop talking, just hang this guy.
Yeah.
Just hang this guy. And I knew there were more episodes, and it wasn't gonna his story wasn't gonna wrap up here, but I'm like, you're so close. Just finish this guy off. Don't let him talk. Oh.
Yeah. Like, I know you have to
Yeah.
maintain some semblance of the judicial process, but
No.
come on, man.
This guy
Just
murdered 2 of his own crew members and caused a massacre to happen. Just kill him.
yeah,
Just execute him. But that's the thing. It's like they have to do it though because if like they are representing order against this guy. And
yes.
if you give up the trappings of order and the judicial system, well, you're just this guy. Like, I get it.
Yeah, you're just some dude.
Yeah. If you don't have the system behind you, you're just a guy who thinks he's in charge, the way this guy is just a guy who thinks he's in charge.
Yeah.
And the show, it's weird. The show really did teach me that lesson over the course of 10 weeks. And it's because there's something, as I said when we were talking about the first 3 episodes, so on its face ridiculous about all of these guys continuing to dress in the suits, continuing to keep in good order, even as they're going to be freezing to death for a year, right? But
Yep.
when it all goes down, you see the value of that. Not that it saves anybody.
Well, there's like so many competing factors in this.
Yeah.
Because, we understand that Homie was crazy.
Yeah.
But, was he, like, did he start out this way? Or was it the lead from the food cans
Yeah. The isolation
that made him, like, just give him that little extra push?
Yeah. Oh, it did. I mean, I think the show is very open with the fact that you don't start walking around naked in the snow unless you've gone completely nuts in a way you weren't to start with. I mean, and that's the thing about the lead in the snow, because not only are they're all getting sick, they're all getting more desperate, and because of what lead does to you, they're losing the ability to control themselves, and they're getting more violent.
Yeah.
And
That's like the doctor who just decides to burn everything.
Oh God. Oh, that is a heartbreaking scene to watch. And such a brutal, like, I was not expecting a close-up of that man's burning face.
Yeah.
They're like, let's do melting skin on this show.
Well, I think the hardest thing for me to watch was like when they're just clipping off toes. I was just like, oh.
For me, it was all the teeth coming out. As people's gums were going black and their teeth were just falling out.
Yeah.
That was rough for me. But yeah, the toes were bad. But I mean, you gotta stop the frostbite somewhere.
No, if your toes are black at that point,
yeah, you're gonna get an infection.
Shit's dead. Yeah.
You gotta cut it off, or you're gonna get an infection and die.
Yeah.
And that's just your only choice in that situation. Save what's left, but that stuff is dead.
Exactly.
But yeah, like, there's so much gore on this show.
A surprising amount.
I was not expecting the amount of gore. Like, when they find the remnants of the rescue crew, just all of the heads lined up. Like, wow. Like,
Well,
they're
even
not
in,
screwing
like,
around.
I think it was episode 2 where it's like, oh, this guy's dead, and they're looking at the body and they're like, this is actually 2 people. This is his top half and his bottom half.
Yeah, that monster wasn't screwing around. Well, and something that interested me quite a bit, right, within that, within the degree to which the monster isn't screwing around, is I don't know that I ever feel, and I think this is deliberate, and I think it was a good choice. I don't know that I ever feel like I completely get the rules of the monster beyond we shouldn't be there.
I actually had to research this.
Okay.
So this is based on, surprise, surprise, a Michael Crichton novel.
Okay.
In the novel, the Inuit who have their who cut out their own tongues are actually psychics who can form a connection with the beast.
Oh. So they give up their ability to speak so that they can
Talk to the Chinook.
communicate with it.
Yeah.
Oh,
And like that's the deal.
that makes so much sense.
That it's mentioned, oh, why does this man have his tongue cut out? Oh, they're all savages and all this. No, this is part of the deal.
Yeah, well, no, I assumed it was part of the deal to become the shaman who is connected to it. I just didn't realize they had a literal psychic connection with the thing.
Yep.
That's interesting. And so, I mean, to what
That
extent
explains why
is it... Yeah,
Crazy
please.
Pants Magoo couldn't tame the thing because he didn't have the psychic
Yeah.
connection.
No, all he could do, because, I mean, he's got no training. He's just doing the cutting off his tongue part.
And
being super crazy. But yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? Like that, I totally get it, because you have to give up, if you have the training, you have to give up all other communication if you want to develop your psychic powers.
Yeah.
Right. So if you want to be able to like commune and become one with this beast, it would make sense that you have to give up everything else, as we saw. And I mean, as she gets exiled at the end. And that was rough, too. Oh.
Yep.
Oh, because, you know what? No shaman, no monster, so you have no role to play anymore. And honestly, the shaman's only role seems to be to deal with the monster. So, yeah, without the monster anymore, they have no role. Which, rough ending for such a heroic character. Did she cause problems? Yes, but she also helped quite a bit. And that matter-of-fact arm hand severing was just one of my favorite scenes in the whole show. Just like, she tries for 1 minute to smash off a shackle, and she's like, oh well.
Alright, well,
Shaw.
this is how we're gonna be.
Like,
Yep.
there is, and again, it's the mindset, right? It's what tells you about the mindset up there, which is there is no room for anything that isn't practical.
Yeah.
You know, this is not a place for sentiment. This is not a place for that kind of care. No, like, you got to lose your arm to keep the rest of you. It's no different than cutting off the toes for Gangrene. I'm not going to be able to pull this chain and all of the things he's chained to, so boom, cut off the hand.
Yep.
Oh,
It's just
brutal.
very matter of fact, but yeah.
So completely matter of fact. Like there's no hesitation. There's no questioning of it. There's no it's not hard for her. Because again, it's a hard life up there.
Certainly is.
Speaking of, as someone who was just up there.
Yes. Actually, not far from where the show is set. I did most of September and part of October in Joe Haven, which is about 120 miles away, and is the closest settlement to the actual wrecks of the Erebus and the Terror.
Wow. Yeah, because this is the island where they found the wrecks, and now there's a national, like, not park, but just like a national heritage site where they found the wrecks, right?
Yep.
Wow. Did you go out and see them? I mean, did you go out to the site?
No.
It's a bit of a schlep.
It's some distance offshore.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if I guess I was about to ask, do they do tours? And you know what? Probably not.
No. Joe Haven is, I would say, about 1,300 people. Of them,
Okay.
55% are below the age of 18.
Wow. That's kind of amazing. Wow. A very young population. You don't hear about that in many places. Huh.
Nope.
Interesting. So, you've just spent time up there. And they actually shot this up there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe
and
they shot
so-
in Greenland, but they actually did shoot a significant portion of it
in
inside the Arctic.
Circle. Okay.
And yeah, that's like when you see just the sand and
The endless sand and gravel. That is what it's like.
that is exactly what it's like.
Wow.
That is dead on.
That's amazing to me. And the thing is, I know we talked about this last time, this being the remnants of glaciers, but it's like, I find it hard to imagine how, because, I'm from, Canada. I
From
grew
the
up in the
South.
Canadian Shield in the South. So the idea of anything being flat is crazy to me. I've never lived in the prairies. I don't know what flat looks like. But even in the prairies, you've got grass, you've got little berms, there's some hills here and there, and there's plenty of trees. But
Yeah.
this gray nothing. That's
It's a
the thing
desert.
that blew my mind. Yeah, it's a desert. It is a desert of just. Oh, wait, let me just. Oh, there we go. It is a desert of gravel and sand, and there is just nothing. And that is terrifying to me. Like,
That's
what a
understandable. I
horrifying
won't lie.
location. Yeah.
It can be a little rough.
Okay. Yeah, and like, so, I mean, you were only there for a few weeks, right? You were only there for 6 weeks?
I was there for 6 weeks. Then
Yeah.
I just got back from a month in Iqaluit, and I'm
Right.
going back to Iqaluit in about 9 days.
And Iqaluit, and now, in these places you're going to, unlike in the show, unlike the stuff they're dealing with, you're right on the water, right?
Yes.
Okay. Does having, like, the water there change the effect of it? Like, does it make it easier to deal with?
Well, instead of staring at a flat, barren emptiness of rocks and gravel, you have waves. So I guess
Well,
you got
that's what I'm
that
saying.
going
It's
for
like-
you.
Does, I mean, this is going to sound like I'm oversimplifying, but bear with me.
Yeah.
Does knowing that there is not necessarily an escape, but it's like, does having water there help remind you that, hey, you know, this isn't just nothingness? Because I'm wondering, like, how living in complete on these flat plains affects psychology, whereas I feel like being on the ocean must have a different effect on your head than being in the desert.
Yeah.
You know, is it? I feel like it, not easier per se, but it is a very different character of the place, right?
It does change things, I think, because I don't know. I at least found it very calming
Yeah.
to see waves and the ocean as compared to
Turning the other way and just
Rocks.
having the just rocks after rocks after rocks. And what I'm excited for next time we talk about this, when you get back, is I want to know what it's like there in the dead of winter, because you're going back for January.
Yep.
So this
I'm-
is the part I'm really excited about.
I'll be up there till February the 2nd. So
God. So yeah, you're going to be spending the absolute dead of winter in the place that drove everyone mad.
Yeah.
Okay, this should be exciting. Luckily,
providing
they
I also don't go insane. Yes.
Yes. Well, yes, but they didn't have the internet back then. Okay, did you just put another body bag in the furnace, or is this thing not burning?
I don't think that thing's burning.
Okay, I'm taking the body bags out so they stop getting in our way. I did not know that the body bags were unburnable.
They are burnable. Because
They
I
are.
burnt 2. This one is just being stubborn.
Oh, okay. It's one of those things where whatever the key part of it that needs to be inside the fire just isn't inside the fire?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That. Oh, by the way, it turns out House Flipper isn't co-op. I thought it was. It isn't. So I'll just get you a copy next time it's on sale so you can see what I'm talking about. For how you could do, like, it's basically Viscera cleanup detail, but
Mhm.
with the front end that makes it incredible and playable. Are you blowing up the... Are you using your laser to blow up the body bags?
Maybe.
so much soot to clean up. Oh well, that's the job. All right, that was actually a lot smarter. I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier.
Yeah.
Where was the laser?
Oh, it's just like right by the incinerator.
Ah, okay.
Anyways,
Is there a more heartbreaking? I'm gonna ask you. Is there a more heartbreaking? Well, I'll bring you some body bags to fry them.
Yep.
Is there a more heartbreaking scene in the entire show? And if there is, you tell me your opinion. Then the fig leaf that they say of, well, we've got to keep walking, and these 4 guys are too sick to walk. we're gonna have to leave them. So they leave them 2 cans of food each. You know, to keep living on until rescue comes. Because they have to provide this, like, fig leaf to their own, like, their own ethics that, well, we're leaving them food, and maybe rescue will come. Like, is there anything sadder than that in the entire show? That the guy waking up and, like,
Finding he's
dying
been abandoned,
of fever,
essentially.
freezing to death, dying of fever, opening the flap, and then there's just these stacked 2 cans of food. Is there anything more heartbreaking than that in the entire show?
It's hard to think of something, because it's like, you know, it would have been kinder to just shoot them.
Exactly. Like, shoot them, suffocate them, stab them in their sleep, like, anything. But, you know, it's like, they're just gonna try to eat the poisoned food and desperately cling to life, because everybody desperately clings to life all the time. That's what living things do. And so you've got this situation where it's like, they know they're leaving them to die, but the food is what makes it terrible to me. Because it's this, no, we're trying to do right by them. Even as they're leaving them to die, they still want to, at least make it seem to themselves like they're trying to do right by these guys. Like, the idea that leaving them the food is any comfort at all is so horrifying. Oh, God. And just the idea of the lead-sealed food. And I know they actually did that.
Yeah.
But, oh, God, seeing it. Well, the thing is, it's like, how much did they know about lead poisoning at the time? Some? You know?
Some, but, like, I guess the theory was, well, it won't leach into the food. I guess we're okay.
Yeah, you know, like it's not like we're running water through lead pipes, although they did that too. No, but they're like, just don't eat the lead, it's fine, because they don't understand how much the enzymes in the food will break down the lead, and it will leach into the food and become completely poisonous. And it's just, the joke about, you know, joke, it's a horrible situation, but still, about using lowest bidders.
It's kind of actually what happens in the military. I hate to break it to you.
I'm not surprised.
Your equipment will always be made by the lowest bidder.
Oh, God. Always be... like, that's the thing. So they're stuck with this food that, I mean, what is the number that if it goes bad, a third of it just wasn't sealed right?
Yeah.
And the rest of it is poisonous. It's just poisonous slower than the stuff that wasn't sealed right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, and just seeing them... Well, and again, it's the keeping good order and discipline, and it's like controlling information. At one point, do we tell these guys that a third of the food has gone bad? You know? Because we're going to be out here for another year. Like, it's not going to... Like, the ice isn't going to... Oh, God. All of those body parts.
Like...
So, like, we have to... They're going to find out at some point that a third of the food is gone, but how long can we delay that?
And you're not in season for anything but seals, and seals require, like, a specific method of hunting that probably white people not very familiar with.
Well, that's why I loved that moment at the last shot of the show. Of him with his one hand, you know, just sitting over the hole with a spear. And his son, you know, napping on him. And I'm like, ugh. Like,
for those of you who don't know, that is seal hunting. You have to cut a hole in the ice, wait for them to surface, and stab them in the face.
Yeah. Before they
Oh, by the way, did you want to try some narwhal?
Not particularly. Do you have narwhal?
I have narwhal.
No. Is it as fatty as I assume?
It is extraordinarily fatty.
Yeah, no, I will not be having any narwhal. Thank you for the offer, though. I hope you enjoy it. I can't have any fatty foods.
What about... I guess we shouldn't call it narwhal rind, but it's like the hide. You can try that.
Chew on the rind?
Yeah.
Speaking of, oh my god, the proof that they get that the we're not attacked by the Inuit is cutting up the guy's stomach.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, if they attacked us, they would have attacked us. But the first thing Inuit do if they would meet a starving person is to give them food.
Yeah.
So I suspect they didn't attack him, so they definitely gave him food. And so he cuts him open, and yep, seal meat in there. Oh, God. But yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there's a very specific way, because the seals need to look for air holes. And they're not smart enough to understand that someone could be waiting by an air hole for them. I mean, that's what polar bears do. They find a break in the ice, and they just plop themselves down next to the break in the ice, and they do that amazing thing that polar bears actually do, which is cover their nose, because they know that if the seals don't see the nose, if the breast gets pushed down and they don't see the black nose, the seals will just think it's just more snow and ice, because their vision isn't that good, and boom, the second they're fully out of the ice, they attack. Whereas humans don't have that ability to completely blend in with snow, so as you say, they have to drive it deep into their face the second the seal surfaces, and then drag it out of the ice. Which I've seen documentaries about, and yeah, I don't know that I could do that. You really gotta train. Yeah, you gotta train since you're a kid to do that.
I should pick up some seal next time I'm up, A. But B, yeah. I really need, like, a narwhal cane.
Oh, absolutely. That would be absolutely your brand, to have a narwhal cane.
Just be walking around downtown Ottawa, narwhal cane.
Narwhal cane. Oh, man. But yeah, like, that is such a beautiful image to end on. But it just goes to show that, like you say, how many people would be capable of doing that kind of hunting? Like, first you have to learn, and then you have to be unbelievably patient.
Yep.
You know? And that is the part that, like, these guys, I mean, maybe they could learn it, but it is a completely different kind of hunting than any of them would ever be familiar with. You know, it's just not something that they would ever have encountered. Like, normally you strap a gun to your back, you go to where you think the animals are, you shoot the animals, you drag the animals back.
Well, usually you can also, like, set up, like, a tree stand and you're waiting.
Oh, and you can also bait for those kinds of animals, true.
Yeah, but
you can't really do a tree stand with seal hunting.
Yeah.
There is no equivalent amount of comfort you can give yourself while seal hunting. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I think that's the thing that gets me is the constant threat of mutiny. That is always in the back of everyone's head. The idea that there could be a mutiny at any moment is fascinating to me, and that is why they're so concerned about the food supply, because you're constantly having to diagnose the psychology of your crew, right? So it's December, and they're like, we don't have enough food to get through the winter at normal rations. But if we don't break it to them that that we're out of food, if we find a way to not break that to them until March, then maybe
they'll be so mad.
No, they'll be so mad. But if you tell them in November we don't have enough food,
they're going to start plotting in December.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're looking down the barrel of 5 months of starvation. But if you find a way to not tell them until February that we're not out of food, they're only looking down the barrel at, 2 months of starvation.
Well, and that's the thing, because
it's an honest thing or a good thing, but I get the psychology of it now in a way that I didn't before those scenes.
Well, then the fact that all these people are officers, and during a mutiny,
they're the first ones.
They're not going to have a good time.
And I mean, this is it's slightly off topic, but it is related. Have you played Return of the Obra Dinn?
No.
Okay. It is a video game about a supernatural disaster on a boat. And the thing is, I cannot give you any details about the plot of it, except the premise of the story is there was a boat Everybody died on the boat. You are an insurance investigator who has been sent to figure out what happened on the boat. And you have a supernatural device that lets you see various incidents in which people were killed. And the entire gameplay of the boat is you see these vignettes. And so your job is to watch these vignettes and figure out who everyone was and how they died. And that's the whole game.
I can get behind that. That's
no,
like
it's amazing. It was my game of the year from last year. It's amazing.
I might have to pick it up because don't tell my wife. I'm actually thinking about picking up a gaming computer because my schedule is such that like I'll work 48 hours in like 4 days.
Yep.
And then be off for 3 straight days.
With nothing to do.
Yeah.
Might be time for a gaming laptop, I think.
Yeah. So don't tell her that I'm probably gonna get one of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will keep that stumm because she's never watching this video. Yeah. There is no risk that she's gonna want to watch this one.
No.
But yeah, the interesting thing is, right, and I think it is something that if you liked The Terror, I can absolutely see anyone who liked The Terror being interested in this because it also has a ton to do about with the politics of how ships are run, right?
Yeah.
And the interrelationships. And there's some fun stuff where you can literally, because you can hear little voice snippets. So, like, some of the identities are solvable by listening to what kind of accent a person had. So it's like, there's only one Norwegian guy on the boat. So if you hear the guy with the Norwegian voice, well, I think I've just identified him. But it's true, there's not that many Scotsmen on the boat. But there's a bunch of Irishmen, so that's not super useful. Right?
Interesting. It sounds almost like do you remember System Shock or Observer?
Oh god, Observer, yeah.
Observer
actually that's a good comparison point. Observer is not that far off from what they're trying to do here. But the thing that makes it so interesting and it's so unlike anything else out there is have you ever seen what an old-timey Macintosh's graphics look like?
Yes, I lived through the time when the Macintosh was the prime gaming computer.
Back when you played The Uninvited and Deja Vu and Shadowgate on the Macintosh. Well,
when Sierra Games was still a thing.
Sierra Games. So the idea is it is a monochrome game. So the concept of the game is it's like from an alternate world where graphics got better, right? So there were complicated, where like processing got better, so there were complicated three-dimensional shapes, and you're walking around a three-dimensional world in first person, but it's a two-color world. So there's literally just light and dark. And everything is just shades of that and how stippled everything to create different shades and colors and shapes. It is a beautiful, and you can make, there's a vision mode, so you could make it look like the various different two-color computers that existed at the time. So you can make it look like a MASH, or a Spectrum, or an old IBM PC.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that.
Visually, it's stunning, but the gameplay is what made it my game of the year for last year. So yeah, and it's very on point, and I can confirm to everybody, if you liked The Terror, you will love Return of the Obra Dinn. And I know that's a big push, because The Terror is amazing.
It is.
But that's how good Return of the Obra Dinn is. But here's the problem. I'm being very coy about what it's about, because due to the nature of the game, like, anything about what happened on the boat is a spoiler, because the whole game is finding out what happened on the boat.
Well, it's kind of like Cold in July. If you tell anyone about the movie, you're spoiling it. You're ruining
the
it.
Movie. Yeah,
because
you just have to. It's one of those things where it's like, no, you have to see Cold in July.
Yeah, you have to go in cold. No trailers. Nope. No nothing.
Don't even read a synopsis.
Don't even read a synopsis.
If it's on your streaming service, don't read the synopsis on the streaming service.
Yes, this is one of the few things we will agree on. Cold in July is a fantastic movie.
Oh, totally.
But you need to go in dead cold to it.
Yeah, absolutely you have to. You cannot risk finding out anything first. And I mean, it's intense, but it's a good ride.
yeah, it's like I'd say it's comparable to Green Room
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would absolutely put it
in
on that
terms of
same level of
intensity.
just really intense, and you can't go in. The weird part is you can tell people what Green Room is about, and it doesn't spoil Green Room.
Yeah.
Whereas Cold in July, you need to not know what you're going to see.
Yeah. Under
Because
no
I found
condition
out-
should you
yeah.
know anything about.
Yeah, because I knew all about the plot of Green Room before I saw it, and it's still an amazing movie. Like, you don't need to be surprised to get that. Whereas this one, yeah, Cold in July, go in as cold as you will be for Oberdin. And I can't stress enough, Oberdin's a must-play in the same way that if anyone hasn't seen, somehow, The Terror, you gotta watch The Terror. Because,
Yeah.
like, beyond all of the great moments and all of the wonderful plot developments and the amazing twist and action set pieces, there are just 100 great character beats in this thing. You know? As these guys are going mad. Like, as these guys are growing more and more hopeless. As it becomes clear that this whole thing has been just a disaster. And that scene of them trying to raise money for a rescue? Oh.
Yep.
Oh,
That's heartbreaking because, you got these wives and they're just like, hey, we'd really like to see our husbands again.
Yep.
You think you could hook a sister up? And they're like, they'll make their way back. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I know. And the woman that Crozier would have liked to have been matched with, but he is too low a station.
Yep.
Just sitting there looking about, what might have been. Oh god, it's so tragic, and also the fact that it's like the private like it's a naval expedition, but the fact that there are these public-private partnerships with these expeditions. That it's like, yes, it's the Royal Navy, but it's also private ships doing this stuff. There's also corporations with their own navies doing this stuff.
There's corporate sponsors for the Royal Navy.
Yeah, like there is this mixture of public and private going into this that is like this additionally fascinating element to it because
It's
all
so
intermingled.
foreign compared to today.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Where they have this idea that no, the military is just the military, and you can say that, well, okay, also there is the military-industrial complex. There are a lot of the corporations that build and sell these things to them.
Yeah, but you don't see people fielding like the 3rd Raytheon division
Exactly.
or,
Yeah, no, or you don't have like, okay, well, oh, United Fruit, you want us to go and wreck Panama? Well, obviously you're going to have to pay for a bunch of our transportation down there.
Yeah, well, you also don't see like, oh, well, the situation's getting serious. Bring out the 1st Bombardier, armored cavalry in order to
deal with it. Yeah, and that's the thing. What's interesting is this was like a compromise because the British East India Company had its own navy and its own army, right? And so like to get to like what we're watching in The Terror is the midpoint between the professional government-run military and what had happened before, which was these giant corporate interests just had their own armies. And yes, they intermingled with and did the biddings of the governments, but it was the British East India Company would essentially buy the rights to have its own army as long as that army only operated in the Indies, right? Only operated around India and all of the surrounding islands in Indonesia and really all of the Pacific.
And was essentially under the control of the British Empire.
Oh, of course.
If, they so wished, which was very rarely, because it's just like Hudson's Bay Company, where...
Yeah, they were nominally responsible to the government, but let's face it, they had, as long as they were paying their due back to the government, they did whatever they wanted.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm not saying that mercenaries are the worst people in the world, but Eric Prince, the guy who created Blackwater, and which it has 15, names for it since, seriously pitched to the American government that he should be made viceroy of Afghanistan and just be given free reign to do whatever he wanted in Afghanistan, as long as he got, the various rare earth minerals out of the ground that American corporations wanted.
Honestly, I'm not sure, like, at worst, that would be a side-to-side, like, that'd be a lateral movement.
Okay, I'm not saying
Because
the Taliban's great. I'm saying giving Eric Prince the power of life and death over an entire nation is one of the worst outcomes you can have.
I'm not so sure, because, I mean, well, we've seen how, well, like, the Taliban
didn't do a great job. The government didn't do a great job.
The government, do you realize that Canadian American soldiers do not trust the ANA and ANP at all?
I do realize that, and it's terrifying.
Like, they consider them generally, if not as bad as the Taliban or working for the Taliban,
yeah,
as much of a threat because they are so corrupt, so incompetent, and there's like an enormous Wikipedia list of their soldiers just deciding, you know what, say I don't like Westerners, so I'm just going to shoot a whole bunch of them.
Yep.
So Eric Prince getting in charge, I'm like, you're already at the as low as you could go pretty much in terms of human rights and anything else.
But I would say that
Canadians do not turn prisoners over to the ANA or ANP because they will be treated that badly.
Yeah, and it's terrifying. I just think that the answer is probably not give it to a mercenary warlord. That's usually historically that has not gonna. I don't have a solution for it. I'm just saying bringing back viceroys is probably not a great solution for it.
I will agree. Viceroys, bad solution. Mercenaries, I personally have no problem with mercenaries because they tend to get shit done.
Okay. That is an interesting tactic to take. We're probably not going to agree on that one, but that's fine.
I have to say that, historically, mercenaries...
Yes. Oh, no, historically... I'm not saying historically mercenaries haven't been necessary for every country and every conflict in history. That's absolutely true. I'm just saying we might want to move out of that age. Just generally.
Well,
would be my take on the matter.
As long as there's 3 people, someone will want someone dead. And someone will be willing to pay for that service.
And someone will accept money, yes. And then someone is going to accept that money. And then there will be only 2 people.
Exactly. Because
the real goal. By the way, the real goal of capitalism and capitalism in general and mercenaries specifically, getting everything down to just 2 people, one guy with money and one guy who works for him.
Well, like, look at it's Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
Where you had this cannibal child army.
Oh God, yeah.
Roaming the landscape, and who fixed that problem?
Oh no, I'm not saying having people to pay with guns you can pay isn't a necessary evil. I'm not saying it's not a necessary evil at times. I'm just saying we should never mistake it for. You should never mistake a necessary evil for a good. That's my point. So yes, I think to wrap up slightly, we're going to say that The Terror is...
It's a must-watch, comparable
it's essentially perfect. Like,
I would say it's as good as Counterpart Season 1.
Yeah, like as a miniseries. And I can say that there is a way in which it's better than Counterpart Season 1 because it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It tells a complete story.
I think the biggest fault we have with Counterpart Season 1 is Season 2.
Is that it promised stuff it wasn't going to be able to deliver.
Yep.
And that's the thing. Like, it made promises that it wasn't going to be able to deliver, and that is the big problem with the show. And as we saw in Season 2, like, you give Season 1 credit because you assume it's leading somewhere, and when you find out it's not leading anywhere, you're like, oh, so these people are just acting like idiots to keep the plot going. Fantastic.
Yeah, I think that was my biggest issue, too. Because we did come up with, like, this fantastic alternate history.
Yes.
Just the 2 of us doing exactly what we're doing now.
I know. It's so
That
frustrating, and all of the
that would have
places
been better.
it would have been better than what they
This is
did, and what they did was very little.
this is exactly like the Star Trek Into Darkness issue.
That's true, yeah.
That
Where
is the historical gold standard of us bumming around.
and coming up with a better continuity than they did.
Yeah,
Uh,
and like
yeah, it's frustrating. It's unbelievably frustrating. You're right. So yes, we are going to be back soon because guess what? While he's gone, the Expanse is coming back. So we're gonna be talking the hell about the Expanse once you're available again. And also, while you're gone, I will watch season 2 of The Terror. I'll watch all of that, so we can be ready to talk about that as well.
well, hopefully we can get at least one more podcast in before I leave.
Yes, hopefully. Depends. I mean, depends what we want to watch, but we're going to discuss that.
Yep.
But the big things to look forward to from us is we're going to be talking Expanse season 4, and we're going to be talking Terror season 2 in the near future. So just keep an eye out for that.
And at some point we will finish The Man in the High Castle.
Yes, actually, you know what? Maybe I'll watch the rest of the season 2 of Man in the High Castle, and we can get through that before you go.
Yeah.
That might be doable. All right. Well, I'll just check my schedule, really. So, yes, I guess we'll see you back here for that. But do you have any... I mean, I've already made my recommendation, which is everyone needs to play Return of the Obra Dinn. Steam Christmas sales are coming soon, so if you can get... I think the game would normally cost $30. I think it's worth $30, but if you can get it for, like, you know, $10, $15... It's worth it at any price, but with Christmas sales coming up, you owe it to yourself to get yourself a copy of Return of the Obra Dinn. Do you have any recommendations you would like to make?
For me, in terms of games,
Yeah.
Pillars of Eternity, just my heart. I love it. It
Yeah.
brings me back to Baldur's Gate. It's like a Baldur's Gate flavored nostalgia bomb.
Wow. Go finish your shift so we can find out how bad we did. Okay, so Pillars of Eternity, it's that good.
Yeah.
Like, it gives you everything you want. It gives you the complete retro RPG experience.
Like that classic, sort of, text-based adventure RPG where it's you. It has that BioWare feel of just building like your party and your team and talking. Like Mass Effect 3 was good specifically because what you did was you walked around. You don't remember like fighting robots on some dumb planet for a side mission. You remember bumming around with Garrus and calibrating shit.
It's true. It was the best part of that.
Exactly.
No, then that's the thing. It's like BioWare has always been the best at building these kinds of character relationships. And you're saying it has that level of writing to it.
It has that level of writing, that level of care, and the format's very familiar to anyone who's played either of the Baldur's Gate games.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a big yes to Pillars of Eternity, and I will just do one bonus. Also, people should check out Terminator Resistance. It's the best Terminator game ever made, and it is just a beautiful first-person shooter set in the Terminator Future War sequence. So you should have a great time with a Terminator Resistance. Thumbs up on that one. All right, so you can join us back here next time for probably Man in the High Castle. That should be a blast. But until then, I just want to say I've been the Hidden Object Guru.
I've been the Gun Wrangler.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here next time. And until then, au revoir.